You're listening to the Dental Zone podcast. I'm Dr. Rachel Hall. This is the place that supports you to understand your dental issues, the causes and how to prevent them, empowering each individual to get the most out of life while bearing a stunning smile. Hello, I'm Dr. Rachel Hall, holistic dentist from Brisbane, Australia, and this is the Dental Zone podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a little impromptu short podcast that I have felt I must do, particularly in response and reply to an article that appeared in the British Dental Journal overnight. And it really shows how stupid and how taken and how ridiculous the arguments around mercury in dental fillings truly are, that dentists can still believe, based on what they've been trained at dental school, irrespective of all the science, the research and the evidence and the common sense that shows if you've got mercury in this filling material, it's causing issues with mercury leakage and mercury toxicity. How anyone with half a brain cell who is supposedly educated, has a degree in dentistry and dental science, irrespective of their background and beliefs, can still uphold and maintain the fact that dental amalgam is totally safe. Well, what brings me on to have a little rant? Well, the British Dental Journal released an article, and I'm just going to flick to it, that says, "Keep amalgam out of our waterways. Dental amalgam poses a significant threat to our natural environment. Help to prevent mercury from impacting our oceans by investing in an amalgam separator. An amalgam separator device captures 99.8% of amalgam particulate from wastewater streams. It can be fitted or retrofitted to any existing suction unit, so you won't have to worry about it being compatible with your current plumbing setup. You can safeguard the seas and help our environment to remain mercury-free by contacting blah, blah, blah to get your amalgam separator today." So, if amalgams are completely safe and no mercury comes out, why the F are we talking about amalgam separators? Why are we worrying about polluting our waterways and our seas with mercury if amalgam, when mixed together and put in your teeth, is safe? What the? Come on. This is BS. It cannot be safe in one place and yet be a risk to the environment in another. How are we talking about safeguarding our waterways and our seas from mercury pollution, and yet we're not having the conversation about protecting human beings from mercury pollution and toxicity from fillings that dentists are or have placed in their teeth and are drilling and removing when there is decay, a broken tooth, a fractured filling, without any concern for separating you or themselves or their dental team from the dental mercury release. This is hypocrisy. This is complete stupidity. You can't have it both ways. It's either safe or it's a pollutant. Now, I'm calling this out. They know it's a pollutant. This is why there's the push for amalgam separators. In some countries, and in some states in some countries, it is mandatory. You cannot practice dentistry unless you have an amalgam separator fitted to your dental office to prevent mercury pollution. And you know which countries seem to be ahead? So-called third world countries in Africa have amalgam separators fitted in dental offices. It is law. It is law to do so to protect the environment. And yet UK, Obviously, it's not mandatory because they're advertising it in the British Dental Journal. It's not mandatory here in Australia. It's mandatory in some states in the US and some parts of Europe, but not across the board. But the fact that such a thing as an amalgam separator actually exists means we know as a profession that there is mercury released into our waterways, and the biggest polluter of mercury into our environment is dental practices. So if this is a known fact, we have to extrapolate beyond this common sense approach to, hang on, the mouth is a waterway. There is moisture and saliva in your mouth. That means mercury is entering your waterway. It is being swallowed and absorbed into your system. But on top of that, inside your waterway, there are dry areas as well. And these dry areas on the teeth are subjected to friction and exposure to heat. They are in a body at 36 to 37 degrees C. And mercury is stimulated and released from the filling. How the heck do we separate you from the amalgam? Well, the only way you can do that is to not have amalgam in the first place. And amalgam is a mixture of 50% or more mercury with silver, copper, zinc, and other metals. So the only way we can separate you, the human being, and your waterway and your ecosystem from the toxic environment is to not place amalgams in the first place, and secondly, to remove them from your environment safely. And that means using smart protocols. That involves the use of rubber dam to make sure that when the dentist is drilling, none of the bits and particulate and sludge from the filling are splattering around inside your mouth, being swallowed and absorbed directly into your system. It also involves the placement of a nose piece with some sterile air or oxygen flow to ensure you're breathing a clean and separate air supply. It involves the use of filtration machines that capture not only the particulate and aerosols, but the actual mercury vapor itself. We know in dentistry, we know in environmental chemistry that mercury is highly toxic to the human body, to animals, to our environment. We are promoting the purchase of amalgam separators, and nothing is being said about the health and well-being of you, the patient, nor the dentist and their team who are routinely exposed to this toxic substance. Come on, dental profession, it's time to wake up. It's time to admit that this stuff should not be used. It's time to push for safe protocols and safe handling when removing mercury. And people, this is why I am on today. This has to come from you, the public. You have to start demanding better from the dental profession. You have to start questioning what the heck they're doing. Yes, there's going to be pushback. Yes, your dentist is going to say, oh no, they're perfectly safe, don't be stupid, blah, blah, blah. That's what they have been conditioned to tell you. I hit a point in my career where I could no longer continue to ignore the science, where I could no longer continue to ignore my conscience, because I knew as a 19-year-old dental student that it couldn't be right that if these fillings contained mercury, that when we drill on them, the mercury somehow magically disappeared because we've got a suction tube in your mouth. Well, that suction tube doesn't catch mercury. It's designed to suck up saliva and bits. Come on, dental profession. Get with it. There is so much evidence showing mercury is a poison. So if your dentist says to you, no, they're perfectly fine, blah, 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 leave them alone, go find another dentist. If they say, yeah, I'll take them out for you, you've got to ask what safety protocol they're going to use. Got to ask what safety precautions they're going to put in place. And if they do not have nitrile rubber dam, oxygen supply, and a proper air filtration machine to protect you, then leave, walk. That dentist should not be drilling on your fillings because they are going to expose you to acute amounts of mercury, and there's no amalgam separator going on in your mouth at that time to prevent you from being polluted by more mercury. So, if it is so obvious that amalgam fillings pollute our waterways, why are we not taking a stance as a profession to safeguard your health and well-being and to safeguard our own health and well-being? The public must vote with their feet. The public, that's you, our patients, must start questioning more of our dental profession. We must start asking for the safety procedures to be implemented, because without the public's voice, the profession will just continue in the way it always has done, which is in the belligerence that they know best, and that don't be stupid, that can't possibly happen because I have been told this product is completely safe, yet I have ignored all the science that says that it's not. I'm Dr. Rachel Hall. I'm a holistic dentist from Brisbane, Australia. I practice smart amalgam removal. I use all the safety protocol. I am educating my patients on the risks of mercury. I am educating you guys on the risks of mercury. And I am asking you to get your voice heard. Put two and two together. If dentistry says we need amalgam separators to safeguard the environment and not pollute our waterways and seas and oceans, then there's something seriously wrong with having amalgam in your teeth, having it placed and having it drilled at the dental office. Until next time, I want you to speak to your dentist about, hey, I've got silver fillings in my teeth. I hear they contain mercury. What are your thoughts on that? And if I ever need one of those fillings replacing, or I ask you to take them out and change them for a healthier tooth-coloured white filling, how are you going to go about that to make sure I'm separated from the amalgam? Ask them if they have an amalgam separator fitted to their clinic, or whether they'd ever think about getting one. Because if they're a true environmentalist, they'll care about your environment and their environment in the dental office. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, stay in the zone. And if you want a safe amalgam removal dentist, then give our office a call on 0737 20 1811. Oh, and I'll just do a little plug for the website because I'm on such a rant. I'm in such a bad mood over this that I've even forgot to say. Hop on over to holisticdentistry.au to find out more, or evolvedental.com.au, and that number for my clinic again, 0737 20 1811. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. I really do hope that you will take the time to start questioning your dentist, or to start looking for one that actually cares about amalgam safety. Until next time, stay in the zone. You've been listening to the Dental Zone podcast with Dr. Rachel Hall. For health, lifestyle, fitness, and a great smile, get in the zone.